Welcome to the Deep Dive. We unlock knowledge, one book at a time. And today, we're going to be diving into Tony Robbins' Unlimited Power.
Oh, very cool.
Which is all about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah.
For short now. You might be thinking NLP sounds kind of complicated.
Right.
But trust me, it's incredibly fascinating once you kind of grasp the basics.
Yeah.
Think of it as a toolkit for understanding how we think. And the language that we use, even our body language, affects our nervous system.
Yeah.
And ultimately our results in life.
Feels like a user's manual for your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to extract those golden nuggets from unlimited power, the most practical and powerful principles that you can apply to your life right now.
I like that.
So let's jump right in. Robin talks a lot about personal power. What exactly does he mean by that?
Well, he defines it as the ability to take action. It's about bridging the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it.
Yeah.
It's that doing part that really makes all the difference. That's so true. I think we've all been there. We have that great idea, we set that ambitious goal, but then we hesitate. Fear sets in, procrastination takes over.
Right.
And we end up stuck in that cycle of inaction.
Yeah, and that's where unlimited power comes in. Robbins provides a ton of practical tools and techniques to break free from that cycle and step into our power.
So how do we do that? What's the secret?
Well, one of the core principles he talks about is modeling excellence.
Okay, I'm all ears. What is modeling excellence all about?
Okay, think about it this way. What if you could study the habits, the mindsets, the strategies of the most successful people in the world, and then adapt those patterns to your own life?
Yeah.
That's essentially what modeling excellence is.
I like it.
And he uses the fascinating story of Steven Spielberg to illustrate this point.
Wait, Steven Spielberg, like the legendary filmmaker. I'm already hooked. Tell me more.
So picture this. A young Spielberg, completely obsessed with filmmaking, decides to sneak onto the Universal Studios lot every day after school.
Well, he even finds an abandoned trailer, cleans it up, and puts a sign on it that says Steven Spielberg, director.
Wow. Talk about taking initiative.
Right.
He didn't wait for permission. He just went for it.
Exactly. He immersed himself in the environment where he wanted to succeed, even if it meant bending the rules a bit. He observed how things worked, made connections, and learned by watching the pros. This boldness eventually landed him a 7-year contract with Universal.
Okay, that story is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But how does that tie back to modeling excellence? What's the takeaway for us?
Spielberg's story perfectly embodies this principle.
Yeah.
He didn't just dream of being a filmmaker. He took action. He observed the best, and he adapted their strategies. Yeah. He was a master of modeling excellence before he even knew it. And Robbins argues that we can all do the same in our own lives.
So find those people who are already crushing it in the area that you want to excel in.
Yeah.
And figure out what they're doing differently.
I love that. Okay, what else does Robbins say about achieving unlimited power? Well, he goes deeper by outlining 7 traits he believes are common to all superachievers.
Okay.
These are like the building blocks of success.
7 traits. Give them to me. Let's see where I stack up.
All right, here they are. Passion, belief, strategy, clarity of values, energy bonding power, and mastery of communication. Quite a list, right?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I guess the question is, how do we actually cultivate these traits? Are we just born with them, or can we develop them over time?
Robbins would say it's a bit of both. We all have certain natural inclinations, but we can absolutely develop and strengthen these traits through conscious effort. He actually provides specific exercises and techniques for each one.
Okay, I'm definitely going to need to revisit that section of the book.
Definitely.
So we've got modeling excellence and the 7 traits. What else is crucial for unlocking unlimited power?
Robbins talks a lot about the power of our state and physiology. He argues that our physical state has a direct impact on our emotions and behavior. So if we're feeling sluggish, unmotivated, or stuck, we can actually shift our state by changing our physicality.
Wait, you're telling me that simply changing my posture or my breathing can actually change how I feel? That sounds too good to be true.
I know it sounds a bit out there, but there's real science behind it.
Okay.
He even suggests doing a fun experiment. Try mimicking the gestures and tonality of someone like Bruce Springsteen or Martin Luther King Jr. You'll be amazed at how quickly your state shifts just by changing your physicality.
Okay, I'm putting that on my to-do list.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, why does he use those specific examples? What's so special about Springsteen and MLK?
Well, they both embody incredible energy and presence, right? They command attention. They exude passion.
Yes.
By mimicking their physicality, you're tapping into that same energy.
I love that. It's like borrowing their energy to boost your own state. So it's not just about positive thinking. It's about aligning our physical and mental states to create the results we want.
Exactly. And this all ties back to Robbins' emphasis on taking action. Our physical state can either empower us to take action or keep us stuck in inertia. It's like choosing the right fuel for our engine.
All right, so we've got modeling excellence, the 7 traits, the power of state. What else is in Robbie's toolkit for achieving unlimited power?
One of the most powerful techniques he introduces is the concept of reframing.
Okay.
It's essentially about changing the meaning we assign to events.
Okay.
And it can completely transform our emotional response.
Okay, give me an example. How does reframing work in real life?
Well, Robbins shares this incredible story about Tom Watson, the founder of IBM. One of his employees made a costly mistake, something like a $10 million error.
Yikes.
The employee, terrified of being fired, walks into Watson's office and says, "I suppose you want my resignation."
Oh, I can only imagine. I would be sweating bullets.
Right. But here's the thing. Watson, instead of freaking out, responds with, "Are you kidding? We just spent $10 million educating you."
Whoa. He completely reframed the situation. Instead of seeing it as a failure, he saw it as an investment.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Exactly. He turned what could have been a devastating setback into a learning opportunity.
That's the power of reframing. It's about choosing to see things from a different perspective. And in doing so, we can actually change our emotional experience.
So it's not about denying reality or pretending the bad things don't happen. It's about choosing how we interpret those events and how we let them affect us.
You got it. And this ties back to one of the 7 traits we talked about earlier. Belief.
Oh.
Our beliefs shape our perceptions, and reframing allows us to challenge and reshape those beliefs. It's about taking control of the narrative in our minds.
Okay, this is all starting to click. So we're not just passive recipients of our experiences.
Right.
We actually have the power to shape them through our perceptions and beliefs. Mind blown.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Unlimited power is packed with so many more tools and techniques for creating lasting change. But I think we've covered a good foundation for today. Yeah. I'm already feeling inspired and energized. But before we move on, I'm curious about one thing I've started. Robbins talks a lot about the importance of having a compelling future.
Yes.
A strong why that fuels our actions. Why is that so crucial?
Well, it's like having a destination on a map.
Okay.
Without a clear destination, you're just wandering aimlessly. But when you have that compelling future vision, it gives you direction. It motivates you to overcome obstacles. It provides meaning to your journey.
So it's not just about setting goals for the sake of achieving them. It's about connecting those goals to a deeper purpose, a vision for the life we want to create.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
I can't wait to dive deeper into that. But I think we'll have to save that for part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about the power of having a compelling future. Robbins argues that without a strong why, our motivation fizzles out. It's like trying to run a marathon without a finish line in sight.
You know, I've definitely experienced that in my own life. There have been times when I've set goals that were more about what I thought I should be doing rather than what truly excited me.
Yeah.
And guess what? Those goals never really gained traction.
That's so relatable. It's easy to fall into the trap of setting goals based on external expectations or societal pressures. But Robbins encourages us to dig deeper and ask ourselves, what do I truly desire? What makes me feel most alive?
Yeah.
That's where the real power lies.
He even shares his own personal story in the book, right? About how setting goals transformed his life.
Yes. Robbins talks about how he went from feeling stuck and unfulfilled to creating a life of purpose and impact, all through the power of setting clear, compelling goals. And he emphasized that those goals weren't just about material success or external achievements. They were deeply aligned with his values and his vision for the kind of person he wanted to become.
So it's not just about writing down a list of things that we want to accomplish. It's about creating a vision that resonates with our core values, a vision that pulls us forward and gives us a reason to get out of bed every morning.
Absolutely. It's about having that sense of purpose that fuels our actions and helps us overcome challenges along the way. Robbins also dives into the importance of understanding and managing our emotional states. This is where NLP gets really interesting.
Okay, emotions. I'm all for feeling good, but we all know that life throws curveballs our way.
Yeah.
How do we handle those not-so-pleasant emotions, those moments when fear or frustration threaten to derail us? Is it about suppressing those feelings?
Robbins actually suggests the opposite. He argues that suppressing our emotions is counterproductive. Instead, he provides a framework for understanding emotions, arguing that they're not random or uncontrollable.
So we're not at the mercy of our emotions. There's actually a way to manage them. Tell me more.
He says that our emotions are generated by the meaning we assign to events, the interpretations we make. It's not the event itself that creates the feeling, but our thoughts about it.
Interesting. So two people could experience the same event, but have completely different emotional responses based on their interpretations.
Exactly. Think about it. Let's say you get stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. You could choose to see it as a major setback and get all stressed out, or you could reframe it as an opportunity to relax, listen to a podcast, and mentally prepare for your meeting. Same event, two very different emotional responses.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this works. But how do we actually change those interpretations? It's easy to say reframe it, but how do we do that in the heat of the moment when we're feeling overwhelmed by emotion?
Robbins provides several techniques for doing just that. One is to simply ask yourself, is this interpretation serving me? Is it helping me achieve my goals, or is it holding me back? If it's not serving you, it's time to choose a different interpretation, one that empowers you to move forward.
So it's about becoming aware of those automatic thoughts and then consciously choosing thoughts that support us rather than sabotage us.
Precisely. And another technique Robbins suggests is to use what he calls transformational vocabulary.
Okay.
It's about replacing those disempowering words and phrases with more empowering ones.
Could you give me an example?
Sure. Instead of saying, I'm terrified of public speaking, you could say, I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited for the opportunity to share my message with the audience. See how that subtle shift in language can change the entire feeling.
Wow. Yeah, it's like changing the channel in your mind from fear to excitement.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all starting to feel a lot less intimidating and a lot more empowering. But let's be honest, sometimes managing our emotions feels like a full-time job. What about those moments when we just need a quick boost, an instant shift in state? Does Robbins have any tools for that?
He does. Remember when we talked about the power of state and physiology? Robbins suggests using a technique called anchoring, which is essentially about creating an instant emotional response.
Anchoring. I've heard about this, but to be honest, it always sounded a bit like magic to me.
It can feel that way, but it's actually based on the principles of neuroassociation. Think about it. We all have certain songs, scents, or even memories that instantly evoke a specific feeling. That's a naturally occurring anchor.
Okay, I get that. Like the smell of freshly baked cookies instantly transports me back to my childhood. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Exactly. And Robbins teaches that we can consciously create anchors for any emotional state we desire. So let's say you want to feel more confident before a big presentation. You could choose a specific touch, like squeezing your thumb and forefinger together, and then vividly recall a time when you felt incredibly confident.
Wait, so by pairing that physical touch with the feeling of confidence, I'm creating an anchor that I can then use anytime I need a boost.
Exactly. You're essentially training your nervous system to associate that touch with that feeling. It's like creating a shortcut to a desired emotional state.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. It's like having a secret weapon for managing your emotions.
Robbins would say it's not a secret weapon, it's a power we all possess. It's about understanding how our minds and bodies work, and then using that knowledge to create the results we want.
This is all so fascinating. I'm starting to see why unlimited power has become such a classic. Robbins really does provide a comprehensive toolkit for personal transformation.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore in the book, but I think we've covered some of the key principles.
Yeah, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful, and I love how you've broken down these concepts in a way that makes them feel accessible and actionable.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Welcome back to the deep dive. It feels like we've uncovered so many powerful tools and techniques from unlimited power already. I'm curious, what else does Robbins have in store for us?
We've talked a lot about mastering our internal world, our thoughts, beliefs, emotions. But Robbins doesn't stop there. He also provides practical strategies for navigating the external world, for getting what we want in life.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We all have things we want to achieve, dreams we want to pursue. What's Robbins' secret formula for making those things happen?
One of the key skills he emphasizes is the art of persuasion.
Okay.
He provides 5 keys to asking for what you want, whether it's in business relationships or any area of life. And it all starts with clarity.
So no more vague wishes or hoping things will magically fall into place.
Exactly. The first key is to have a crystal clear outcome in mind. Know exactly what you want before you even start asking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you don't know where you're going, how can you expect anyone else to help you get there?
Precisely. The second key is understanding that persuasion is a two-way street. It's about creating a win-win situation where both parties feel like they're getting value. Know what you're willing to give in return.
It's like that saying, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Right.
Persuasion is about building bridges, not burning them.
Exactly. The third key is all about building rapport. We touched on this earlier when we talked about mirroring, but it's about establishing a genuine connection with the person you're trying to persuade.
Yeah.
People are more likely to say yes to someone they like and trust.
That reminds me of the story Robbins tells about how he mirrored the body language of a doctor who was initially resistant to working with him. By subtly matching the doctor's posture and tone, Robbins was able to quickly build rapport and turn the situation around.
Brilliant example. And it illustrates how powerful these techniques can be when applied skillfully. The fourth key is having absolute belief in what you're asking for. If you don't believe in it yourself, it's going to be tough to convince anyone else.
Enthusiasm is contagious, right? If you're passionate about something, that energy is going to shine through and make others more receptive to your message.
Absolutely. And finally, the fifth key is to be persistent. This doesn't mean being pushy or obnoxious, but it does mean being willing to ask until you receive. Find different ways to frame your request, address concerns, and highlight the benefits.
I think that's where a lot of people give up too easily. They ask once, get a no, and then throw in the towel. But Robbins is saying that sometimes no just means not yet.
Right.
We need to be resourceful and adaptable in our approach.
You got it. These 5 keys can be applied to any area of life, from negotiating a raise to asking someone out on a date. It's about mastering the art of communication and influence.
This is all so empowering.
Yeah.
But, as we've been talking about all these incredible tools and techniques, I keep coming back to this one question. What if I try all of this and it doesn't work? What if I still feel stuck or limited?
That's a great question, and I think it's something we all grapple with at some point. Robbins addresses this directly in the book. He reminds us that change takes time and effort. It's not about overnight transformations or magic formulas. It's about consistent practice and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zone.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And sometimes the journey is messy and unpredictable. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, but that's all part of the process.
And I guess the key is to not let those setbacks define us, to see them as learning opportunities and keep moving forward.
Precisely. And that's where having a strong support system comes in. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, who challenge you to grow.
Robbins talks about the importance of bonding power, right?
Yes.
It's one of the 7 traits of superachievers.
You remembered. He emphasizes that we're not meant to do this alone. We need those connections, those relationships that nourish us and support us on our journey.
It's like having a team of cheerleaders in your corner, reminding you of your strengths and helping you get back up when you fall.
Exactly. And ultimately, I think that's the most powerful message of unlimited power. It's not just about achieving success or acquiring material possessions. It's about unlocking our full potential as human beings. It's about living a life that is aligned with our values, a life that is filled with passion, purpose, and meaning.
This deep dive has been absolutely incredible. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of how my mind works and the power I have to create the life I desire. What's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
If I had to choose one thing, it would be this unlimited power isn't just a book, it's an invitation. An invitation to step into our power, to embrace the incredible potential that lies within each of us. It's about recognizing that we are not limited by our circumstances, but by our beliefs and our willingness to take action.
Beautifully said. And to our listeners, I encourage you to pick up a copy of Unlimited Power and embark on your own journey of transformation.
And as you dive into these principles, remember this. The power is within you. It always has been. It's time to unleash it.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive into unlimited power. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.